In addition to being a scholar of contemplative practice, I also understand from Peter Wayne that you are a long-term 40 plus years practitioner of Tai
Mhm.
Chi. So how has that influenced your understanding of mind-body practices and theories of embodiment?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so I have practiced Tai Chi for many, many years and related types of practices, Qigong, Neigong, standing meditation, things like that. And I mean, one of the wonderful things about that practice is it's unlike, say, seated meditation. It's it's in movement, it's dynamic, so it works with some of the same aspects of attention that, say, you'd be working with in seated meditation, but from a more you could say open panoramic kind of attitude that involves movement, and then also, if you're doing partner work, involves interaction with others. So I would say that it's both a study case and a lens for looking at embodied cognition, for looking at cognition. And by cognition, I mean to include things like affect and emotion, really the mind. It's a lens for looking at how cognition, emotion, affect, mental activity fundamentally involves an experience of the body, of being embodied, of being in a bodily relationship to the world or to other people. And that's something that over the course of the history of cognitive science came to be increasingly emphasized. The sort of classical model in cognitive science was very much, mind as kind of computer in the head, and the body as just sort of, a housing for that. But as the field developed, it became very clear that perception and action are so densely interrelated that the body needs to be seen as part of the cognitive system, not just the part of the body that is the brain. And Tai Chi provides a very interesting lens for looking at that. So for me, it's again, relating to what I said before about the perspective of lived experience and the perspective of phenomenology and lived experience and the perspective of science. Tai Chi is an interesting case for the side of embodied cognition that's experiential and phenomenological. And of course, now there's increasingly through the kind of work that Peter does, there's increasingly scientific and clinical research on Tai Chi and its benefits for cognition and the kinds of cognitive processes that it brings into play. So it's a little microcosm for me of embodied cognition. Yeah.